Confirm or deny, Aaron Rodgers has played his final snap in the NFL.
I'm denying it. I think he's got such a big ego that he just does not want to go out that way. I do think it's highly unlikely at that age, regardless of his physical condition, that he could play a full season and come back and return from that. I saw Justin Williams do that right in front of my face and how difficult it was for him to come back. And I think he didn't play very long before he hurt it again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That happens a lot.
Yes. So I don't know. He's going to come back, but I don't know how long it's going to be. So I'm going to confirm. What is the question again?
The question is Aaron Rodgers has played his final snap in the NFL.
Deny. He's going to make a comeback and try to get back. He doesn't want to go out like that.
I'm confirming it. Unfortunately, and I'm not wishful. I want him to come back. At this age, the amount of recovery, and if there's a setback, I don't see it. I think
that'll punt him. The setback will punt him.
But that's like you hear stories about it at 40 years old. Anything's tough to recover, just naturally, and even through rehab. And I know he's an elite level athlete, but I think he's done.
I'm confirming it as well. I mean, listen, this guy he's a different cat to begin with, right? That doesn't mean he's not incredibly competitive and loves to play football and wants to win. There's no disputing that. He was embracing being a New York Jet. He was embracing the challenge. It was going to be an incredible story. It sucks what happened last night. I feel awful for the guy. I feel awful for Jets fans. I feel awful for NFL fans because that was the storyline of the year. But he went into a darkness retreat to determine if he was going to play this year with healthy Achilles.
I think there was a lot of kind of
I don't know,
hot air around that whole
This guy's a different cat, man. He's a different cat. He may wake up one day and just say, I want to live on a farm in Peru. I'm out of here. And it'd be like, all right, see ya. Like, this is...
But he likes attention, though.
He does, but he's 39. He'll be 40. You mentioned what Willie went through. I have not suffered this injury. I know people that have. Everyone says it is excruciating. And it is so dark to be in that position because Salah and the Jets are saying, well, we want him around the team. He probably doesn't even really feel like a New York Jet. He played 4 snaps. If this was still in Green Bay, he'd feel like a Packer. He'd feel at home. He'd come and go whenever he'd wanted to. He could be a part of the team. I doubt he really feels like a New York Jet. Like, that's another thing. You leave the team that you barely know anyway.
Yeah, you need like 2 or 3 comeback fourth quarter wins to become a Jet, to feel like a part of the team. He hasn't done that.
He hasn't done that.
Yeah.
So you can say he'll be around, and I think that'll be very uncomfortable for him. And that's the darkness of recovering from injuries. You guys have done it. They're like, you got to stay away from us, man. We're playing. Yeah. Like you go stand over there. We don't want you around.
You're so new. You probably don't have deep relationships with these guys.
Exactly.
Like
who do you know? Who are you going for dinner with in New York? Yeah. Who do you know? Like, he's not going to even rehab in New York. He'll probably go back to California. Yeah. Like, that's another thing. He'll leave for extensive periods of time. He's going to have surgery. Yeah. He's not just going to be sitting around in New York. I can't imagine he will.
That's true.
All right, confirm or deny. The Buffalo Bills should be terrified about the status of Josh Allen. Terrified.
I'm going to confirm that just after the comments. I told you how concerned I was about the comments for a guy to say, same crap, different day. That is no position for a team. And I think he's really added to McDermott's stress. He looks stressed, but he looks like he's coaching for his life right now.
I think he is. He should be.
It's just an unneeded added pressure. And it seems like from a team last year how everybody was so positive and they were just blowing teams out and Josh Allen was going to win the MVP. Man, that's ratcheted up. All they've been through in the last calendar year and now this stuff, they don't need it, man.
Yeah.
Confirm.
Yeah, I agree.
You're going to confirm that? Terrified is a strong word, man. It is.
It just...
He
his
threw
body
a lot of
language
picks.
is like, I don't know. I'm not
fumbles.
a Bills fan, but I think of what do you think Carlo's going through right now, other than singing songs on
singing New York this morning.
Other than singing on his show.
A horrible rendition of New York, New York.
Did he not have like his headphones on or something? It was almost like he was tone deaf.
Yeah, it was really awful.
Yeah. I don't
But
know, but like
he's suffering, man.
he's suffering. But how do you think his confidence? What does he think of what Josh Allen is up? Like I'm concerned. Like
Yeah.
They have the never say die attitude. He's like, Josh Allen better get it together next week or else.
or else.
Right. I'm denying it. It's one game. It was an awful game. Joe Burrow was worse. Joe Burrow was infinitely worse. He was awful. And no one's suggesting Joe Burrow's not going to respond. Allen, he turned the ball over way too much last year. He's reckless. I think he puts his body in very poor positions where he gets hit way too much. I'm
but if
nervous
he's
about
continuing to do it now, what's going to stop him in the future?
Well, I think he needs
what does
some
it take
help.
for him to stop?
I think he needs some help. But that offense
In that league?
Yes.
What other help do you need?
Well, he needs better play calling. There's a complete lack of creativity on that team. They still have no run game.
do you think some of that monkey business that went on there, some guy went into his headset and called that? Come on,
No,
dude.
not throwing bad picks. I understand that. But it appears to me that their game plan is find Stephon Diggs. And if not, run. Like that kind of feels
that
like
could
what
be
it
an
is.
added element to the goofiness where it's like they've had a meeting and it's like, dude, you got to start finding me more. So that's maybe something that's in the back of his head where he's
Sure.
just like, I got to get this guy the football or else he's going to want to leave or else blah, blah, blah. And then it's forcing him into doing stupid things.
Well, listen, also, if you're a Bills fan, you realize the Jets probably are not a serious contender.
Yep.
The Patriots are not a serious contender, and Tua is a bad injury away from the Dolphins possibly being in the same situation.
Yeah.
So from that standpoint, it's early. It's concerning. I don't think it's like terrifying. Like we can't win now with Josh Allen. He's still an uber talent with a great arm, great legs, and they're still a really good team. It was ugly last night. I think the Bills are still going to be okay.
Yeah.
Confirm and deny, Mike Babcock will still be the head coach of the Blue Jackets in 3 years. 3 years from now.
Well, I can neither confirm or deny that.
Hasn't been a great start. We'll say that. It's
Well,
been a tough-
Recency bias just from today alone. And I don't know where this story goes, but it's just completely goofy to me. I don't know where, I don't know if this, the Blue Jackets have put it to bed, but I'm gonna deny that.
well,
I'm gonna deny that.
there's an update here. Babcock spoke with Aaron Portzline of The Athletic in Columbus, and some of the details he was asked about, the scrolling through the phone. If you're not familiar with this, if you're new to the show today or this hour, there was a report. Paul Bissonnette, the Spin Chiclet guys were talking about what they had heard Mike Babcock was doing in Columbus, meeting with players, asking to look at their phone to see pictures,
Right.
and then basically taking the pictures and I don't know, posting them in his office or I don't even know how to explain the
like on the air, whatever. The cloud.
AirPlay or the cloud
yeah.
or whatever. And anyway, so that came out. It was an explosive report, an allegation, and Babcock has vehemently denied that it was done from a power struggle standpoint, and that he wasn't making players feel uncomfortable. And Boone Jenner, who was named on the podcast, Boone Jenner, the captain of the Blue Jackets, came out and said, it's all good. I didn't have an issue with it either. This is nothing. Johnny Gaudreau said the same thing down in Vegas. So Babcock was asked to, share some more details on this practice that he admits to doing, looking at pictures of guys, on their phones, their families, their kids, whatever. He said, quote, they sit in my office, their phone in their hand, and they scroll through. Asked directly if they shared only the pictures they chose to share, Babcock replied 100%. So he's obviously denying this. And
It's
as
still
of now,
ludicrous practice.
I hear what you're saying. And listen, Boone Jenner and Johnny Gaudreau are two of 25 players he's probably met with.
Right.
We'll see what else comes of it with other players. But as of now, Columbus is all in on Mike Babcock. Mike Babcock is a great coach when it comes to wins and losses. There is no disputing that. And Boone Jenner, the captain, is clearly all in with Mike Babcock. That would suggest to me he's going to be there. He's going to be there for a while. I'm going to confirm he's still the coach at 3.
I'm confirming as well on a different way. Outside of this story, and you're right, recency bias. But in the back of my mind, I was thinking, okay, there's just so much noise around the game sometimes. Maybe this is a reclamation project's the wrong word because he didn't do anything other than get fired in Toronto and then collect money and do it. But maybe it's a situation where there is some change, and he takes a team that needs help, needs coaching, needs structure, and they do have a good season, and they do put together a program there to continue to build because they do have some good players there.
Yeah.
So,
Noodles, I agree with all that, but it just doesn't take away from a guy that has a rap sheet of treating players like garbage privately in the past. Why he would want to do this is just beyond me. This is Columbus's problem to deal with and figure it out. But why he would have that approach is beyond me, to ask for people's private property and start checking things out it's ridiculous.
well, even if it wasn't malicious, it's a bit strange. I think we all can agree with that, right? Even
Nuts.
if it came,
It's just
if it
nuts behavior.
If it came from a place where it's like, hey, I thought, I was just doing this, like.
Well, and I
it's still
think
a little-
that's his explanation. Is,
Right,
hey, I
yeah.
was doing
Then
it
that's
as a team building thing.
Then that's
Right.
stupidity. That's
Not-
stupidity to think that that's team building. to approach it
Understandably,
that
but
way.
it's not a fireable offense, and it's not evil or anything like that.
Right.
Like again, the reputation of Mike Babcock in this city, and I would probably say Detroit, among others, is it's not a glowing one. It's, hey, the guy went out on kind of bad terms, and stories were reported of kind of some of his practices that a lot of people found off-putting. So a lot of people didn't. A lot of people were like, whatever, that's a boss being a boss or a coach being a coach and trying to inspire players or whatever. That's open to your own interpretation. You can feel whichever way you want about Mike Babcock. But he has a long history, and his reputation is his own.
Right.
And like I'm people change, people grow. I'm sure he is different today than the last day he was the head coach of the Maple Leafs. But I also think Mike Babcock, in fact, I know, is a big believer in Mike Babcock.
Yeah.
Like he's a big believer in the way Mike Babcock operates and what he does and what he believes is successful. And
That's
I can't
the
argue
shocking
against
element to this, where it's just like new coach, new guy. Like I did some things in the past that were probably stupid, and this is before they get on the ice. I don't know.
Well, hey, Columbus is on the map. We're talking Columbus.
Yeah.
Right?
No, it is.
We're talking Columbus on September 12th. That's got to be a new record.
But you mentioned it before. It's not Boone Jenner. It's not Patrick Laine, Johnny Gaudreau. Like the story in Columbus was always going to be Mike Babcock this year. But I didn't expect it this early and this kind of unique of a story.
Well, I wonder how this will change his approach. Like the media in Columbus will be one thing. He'll have his guard up. Everyone has their guard up, but he'll work the Columbus media a little bit differently. But it's when he hits different markets, when he rolls through here for the first time, goes to Montreal, goes to Detroit. Is playing on a
They'll have
national
it all laid out where it's like once this is all buttoned up from the Columbus point, they're like this will not be addressed again. However it finishes.
Yeah, more than likely.
But he's going to be asked about it.
No, but they will say, Noodles, it's not being discussed. So
Well,
I don't know how it plays out.
Yeah, he'll do a sit down at some point too, right? Like that's coming. He's going to do it. He's going to do interviews, and he has done interviews.
Right.
Like he hasn't been a guy who's disappeared. Like he'll talk, but he's got his approach, and he's been doing it for a long time. Like he's a well-oiled machine when it comes to speaking with the media and doing the media.
that's true.
All right, confirm or deny, the Green Bay Packers will finish with more wins than the New York Jets this season.
I'm going to 100% confirm that, and I can't believe I'm saying that at this particular point. Obviously, there's some circumstances that have influenced my decision, but
Right.
Jordan Love is my guy. I hate to say it.
He's your guy. What did I tell you about the universe not allowing the Lions and Jets?
It's not Jordan Love against Rodgers. It's Jordan Love against Zach Wilson.
Right, and Jordan Love is the better play. I understand that. And the Packers, I think, are in a lesser division. In fact, I know they are in a lesser conference. But I've told you this. The universe cannot exist with the Lions and Jets both feeling good about their chances.
Yeah.
And it took 4 snaps for the sports guys to say, what do you think you're doing down there? Do you honestly think this is going to work your way? Do we have a 500 bet? I think we do, don't we? I lose track of all these. I got Columbus missing. I think I got one of the Jets or Lions missing. I'm pretty sure I had that, don't I?
Yes, you do. Correct. But
Okay.
I will say,
Thank you, Grappler.
both teams are 1-0, are they not?
They are 1-0. You're right. The Lions and Jets are 1-0. I can't argue that. That is an indisputable fact. But if anyone on earth thinks that both teams are making the playoffs,
But different
Give your head a shake.
storylines. Different storylines. Like
Very
Detroit.
different.
And you can see Detroit. You can,
Detroit could do it. Absolutely. They're the favorite to win the division.
Yeah.
But the Jets, it's because of an injury, but
Injuries are a part of sports.
injuries are a part of pro sports. I'm confirming this, too. I think the Packers have a chance at 8, 9, maybe. I shouldn't get crazy.
Yeah, you are getting crazy.
I'm starting to get a little bit
Listen,
crazy. The Bears are so awful. They're the worst team in the league.
You're right. Overreaction Monday/Tuesday. Let's not forget Jordy Love. Our buddy Andy Reid didn't know who he was.
Like 4 months ago, I'd never heard of the guy.
Like was trying as hard as he could to recall who that kid
who
was.
The quarterback. Yeah.
He's really good. Yeah,
he
he's
was a
really
great
good.
guy.
Keep in mind, the other way from a positive standpoint, it could be overreaction on a positive way.
And the Jets have a great team short of their quarterback now. A great team.
I was just reading in the break, Colin Kaepernick. Do you think Cap would stick?
He hasn't taken a snap in 7 years.
I understand.
I don't
David
believe.
Sanchez came over the top and he goes, I want to play too. But it's not
exactly.
happening for me.
Exactly. It has nothing to
I'll
do
take
with
Davis on my team.
his off the field, the whole story of Kaepernick. That's a separate issue.
Right.
Yeah, it's been 7 years.
Hasn't taken a snap in 7 years.
But he still does these hey, I'm going to throw to some.
Of course, he knows
I'm
he's
going
not
to work
playing.
out, and they showed the video on
I
Twitter.
know that.
Okay, this guy
Of
looks all
course.
right.
And then everyone's people start
Pile
talking
on it,
about him.
yeah.
Colin Kaepernick knows he's never playing in the NFL again.
Wow.
And there was a time where might have been different reasons for that. In fact, I believe there probably were.
Right.
Now it's simply the guy hasn't played in 7 years, so obviously he's not playing.
That's it. That's the only reason. 7 years.
It's absurd that it's even a contemplation.
I asked you
He's not
guys
playing.
last hour, is there a quarterback out there that the Jets might reach out to outside of Martini Tom Brady?
Yeah, I don't think Tom Brady. Carson Wentz, Cam Newton, maybe Matt Ryan after the 28-3 comment. He may just say, screw this, I got to get out of the booth.
Matt Ryan, that's right.
I don't know.
Tommy
Phillip
Brady's
Rivers?
the only guy I would take a shot at.
I think it'd be
That's
incredible. All right, confirm and deny. Alek Manoah needs to release a statement and clarify recent reports. Confirm or deny.
100% confirm. End the speculation.
Mm-hmm.
The organization clearly doesn't want to do it. They've been lying about it. Not lying, but I guess they have been lying. They haven't been telling the truth about what the hell's really been going on.
Right.
It's all been, and I think they make Schneider discuss it all the time, which is bizarre. It's just come with the heat. What's up with the guy?
Yeah.
What the hell's going on?
Well, I think
And
this
then
goes
on
both
his
ways.
end, come out with it.
Yeah, I think it goes both ways. Now all of a sudden there's a painter, a painting being, or a picture being painted through the media that Manoah is petulant and basically just was defiant and said, I'm not going. Okay. That's likely coming from the team. I think the team should show up here and say, this is what happened.
Yeah.
Instead of just, and I understand why it's sensitive at first. When it immediately happens, you're probably all right, let cooler heads prevail, let it breathe. But it's been a long time. And this guy has not shown up in Buffalo. He's not pitching. He's not working out. He's not with the team.
Didn't they allude to that he was injured? I thought there was other things that he's nursing some stuff.
Yeah, they're carrying water for him. But now,
what I mean.
Now it's getting leaked out. Actually, screw this.
Yeah.
This guy just didn't show up, and he and his camp are, they're being silly here. And if that's true, then come out and just say it. And if it's not, then I think it's incumbent on both the team and Manoah. At some point, Manoah and or his agent or PR staff or whatever, you got to get out in front of this because your reputation is at stake here.
Yeah.
Manoah is looking worse and worse by the report. Every report that comes out, you're like, what's up with this guy? Where is he and what is he doing?
You have to make a statement. I think both sides should make a statement. Just be transparent.
This is
with
what's
it.
happening.
This is what's happening. We still believe in him, but we're disappointed the way he handled this situation.
But when you got a player that's acting like a spoiled brat, they never want to make the statement because they know in their own heart that they're in the wrong and they don't want to embarrass themselves. So they just keep pushing it down the road. Oh, no, I don't need to make a statement. I'm getting screwed over. I'm the victim here.
And they're delusional, right? They want Alek Manoah to return to Alek Manoah form. It's in the best interest of the Jays, Manoah, everyone else.
Yeah.
So there's a
and
part
how
of
can
them
they
that-
get any kind of that result when he says, I'm not going to go to AAA.
Well, it's not possible at this point because you can't just bring him back and play for. He's not playing this year. It's over. Like who knows where his arm's at? He hasn't even thrown a side session in like weeks.
Who
Dude,
knows?
that's a part of that's a part of the big picture pro athlete in 2023. I suck, but you know what? The only place I'm playing is for the Blue Jays. I'm going to continue to go out there and be a gas can. You're not entitled to that.
No.
You got to go down to the minors and get your you know what back together.
Yep.
But he refused to do it. That's just so typical of a 2023 young stud player that's been getting his way his whole life, and he's got adversity, and everything has just been handed to him. A lot of it's been earned because of his talent. But when you just hand the keys to kids and it's just like, hey, whatever you need, whatever you want, first sign of adversity, they don't know how to act. They don't know how to deal with it.
Well,
And that's what he's faced with right now.
This is more than adversity. Like adversity is a rough month, rough stretch. Maybe this is a disaster.
Yes.
This is an absolute disaster for his career, for the Blue Jays, for everything. From a guy who was in the All-Star game last year to got the ball on opening night, and this guy was pitching in a warehouse.
Right. And getting crushed. Not only pitching in a warehouse.
The second start, he did better.
Yeah, he did
Remember?
okay in New Hampshire, but like the Florida Complex League, dude, he was getting roasted.
Yeah, like this isn't just a, hey, this is a rough patch. Like this is a complete reset.
Yes.
This guy's got to pull it together.
He really does. And at a minimum, I think Atkins or Shapiro need to call him and say, fine, we'll go our separate ways. Day one of spring training, you better be there and you better be in the best shape of your life. If you're not, you'll never pitch for us again.